So I really want to talk about two things. I'm gonna go back and forth into my life, and then I think what you guys might need to hear. And I think two things I want to talk about are the ability to think about how you learn, right? We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about mental mistakes in life, right? So I'm gonna give you two things just so you can see that I'm credible in the space, right? The first thing is my jacket. This is my varsity jacket. It still fits, so you know I ain't that fat no more. So this is my varsity jacket. It has my name, my sports, all that kind of shit on it, which is pretty cool. The second is my NCAA ring that I won when I went to college at Fairleigh Dickinson University. So I played Division I basketball, baseball and basketball. We went to the championship in the NEC tournament, and then went to NCAA tournament and lost to UConn. This is my hardware from that. You could pass it around, which is cool. So with that, I played, I had fun playing ball, man. From a kid all the way till I was 20 years old. And then I had to and then you hang it up or you go overseas when you don't make the NBA. All that time you got to think to yourself, what am I doing while I'm playing hoops? Because quite frankly, how many guys get drafted into the NBA every year? 15, 20, right? If you're one of those 20, great. But if you're not, what else are you going to do with yourself? And so the whole time I was playing ball, I was always thinking about what else I'm going to do with myself. And so I was just studious. I was trying to be the best student athlete that I could be, because basketball gets you from where you are now to where you want to go, even if you don't have to play it your entire life. It can take you there, right? I traveled around the country playing basketball and baseball. When I was a young man, such as yourselves, I got to experience different cultures, different people, different things, which was amazing. But basketball was like the discipline, but it wasn't gonna pay my bills when it was all said and done. You know what I'm saying? So while you're here thinking about basketball as a disciplinary skill that you love, what else can you learn along the way which basketball can take you to? Think about those things, right? And what basketball took me to was it took me to Fairleigh Dickinson University, which is in New Jersey, and then I transferred to the University of Virginia, where I didn't play at all. Now I played 2 years at Fairleigh. I wasn't that great, but I was good enough. And then I said, damn, I want to get an education. I want to be smarter, right? Because I know this is only the beginning of my life. I'm 39 years, I'll be 40 next week. You guys are 19, 20, 10, 12. You have a long time, you're very, very young men. So what I want to talk about is mental mistakes. In real life, you don't get to make all these mental mistakes that you guys get to make on the court, right? All the different drills and different things that coach is telling you about, you get to make mistakes here, right? In a game, right? So in that game, it's headstrong. You have to be headstrong. This is a mental game. It's important. So the point is, in real life, when you get outside of these lines, you can't make mental mistakes. Especially, I'm talking now to some of the minority men in the building. You get less chances to make those mistakes, right? You maybe get one mistake in your life to make. One, right? Before they put you behind those bars. So really, really think about how not to make mental mistakes in real life. You get to make them here. Clean them up here, right? This is where you get to say, Coach, my bad. You don't get to say that to the police officer outside. You know what I'm saying? So really, really think about how you choose to make decisions on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis, without making those mental mistakes, because that will stop you from taking basketball to take it wherever you want to go. The other thing I want to talk about, anybody have any questions so far? Just about anything I'm saying at all?
Happy birthday next week.
Oh man, thanks man. Thank you, man, appreciate it. So what I do for a living now is I own, you ever been to like a restaurant? Everybody ever been in a restaurant? You might see like a bartender back there like making drinks for somebody or something like that. So I own a company that makes all the stuff behind the bar or in the restaurant at the bar that's not like the liquor. So we make all like these things called bitters and syrups and all kinds of crazy stuff that bartenders and restaurateurs use to like make drinks. It's based in Queens. It's called the Hella Cocktail Company. We have about 20 employees that work for me. I'm the CEO. And we make a few $1 million a year. Money that I would have never made playing basketball, I assure you, because I wasn't that good, right? So again, I took my education, my discipline from inside the lines and applied it to the things I was working on in school, in college, that weren't basketball, right? And now, 20 years later after I graduated, I have a big business. We service companies all over the country, all over the world, right? And I really want to encourage you to know, like, you can do whatever your mind is set to do. outside these lines as well, the same way you do it inside the lines. So when you want to think about being in school, think about all the other things that are important to you. What else do you like outside of people? You know, think about, do you like to cook? Do you like to draw? Do you like to make stuff? If you do, think about those things in a real way, because right now is when you start that other process, right? The same way that you're preparing your body, your mind, and your soul to play ball, you should be preparing it to do a few other things too at the same time, because there's no reason not to, right? You know that one thing is going to end. Ball's going to end, even for Kobe and whoever. It's going to end, and they're 35, 36. The most important thing that you have to do right now in school and in basketball is figure out, how do you learn? How do you learn? There's two ways that most people learn. Most people either learn by theory or application. Two ways. This, you learn by application. Coach says, do this drill, and you'd be like, what did he say? Like, I don't understand. When he demonstrates it, and he applies what he said, then all of a sudden you get it because you're starting to apply it. So you learn the drill, or you learn the shot. That's application, right? Some people learn like application. Some people learn by, just tell me what to do. Just say how to do it, and I'll learn it that way. Anybody here like history? You like history? Why do you like history?
Like, understanding how we got to the point we are now.
Cool. But you know, when you learn about history, the people who usually like it and retain it think by theory. They're imagining what happened, right? When you read a story, your teacher telling you about the past, you're like thinking about what happened to understand it. You can't relive it. You can't apply it, right? You can't go into war and practice it to understand it. You're thinking about it in the theory, like, oh wow, I'm imagining it, and then you understand it. So you learn like that, I would imagine. Whereas some people have to who likes math? You practice math over and over and over, like a drill, right? You apply the math. Somebody gives you a new equation, and then you put it down. And that's how you learn it. If someone told you 3 times 5 times 6 divided by 3 minus 6, what's the answer? Nobody knows right here. Why? Because it's not theoretical. You have to apply that, right? So the two ways to learn are theory and application.
The
Yes, sir.
answer is 15.
Does it?
Oh, no way.
Then you're probably good at history, right? Then you're probably good at history because you can conceptually see it and understand it. Most people can't do that. Think about the difference between an NFL player that starts and one that doesn't is not necessarily that one is better than the other. A lot of times the handbook is a booklet, right? When you get your handbook of plays, or in basketball, your handbook of plays, the coach says run play 3. Did you actually practice play 3, or did you think about play 3? The people who can conceptually think about play 3 the way he did that math problem, and then see it on the floor and then do it, probably do well, right? But the person who applies it and practices it 20,000 times can do well also. He just has to know, I have to apply it. I can't imagine it. Does that make sense? What I'm saying make sense? So I think when you're in school or on the court, you have to figure out, how do you learn? Because the coach may only teach you one way. You may have to take that theory that he told you and then go apply it yourself in a different way, or vice versa. That's the way you're going to be good at hoops, but good at school and good in whatever job you choose to do. Is figure out, how do you learn? If I say there was a war in 1776 and America got its freedom, can you visualize that? Does that stick in your brain? Will you remember that forever? If so, then you learn like that. If you have to watch a movie and really pay attention to the movie and rewind the movie 20 times to see what happened in 1776, then maybe you have to be able to apply yourself to that space. Does it make sense? So that's really what I wanted to communicate to you guys. What I do every day in a job is I apply my theory. I think about something like, what's the vision I'm going to have for this next year? And then I go and make it happen by applying the mechanics to my business over and over and over and talking to people and selling stuff. And whatever route you decide to go in life, you have to figure out, do you learn in theory or do you learn in application? With no mental mistakes. So tie those two things together, and I guarantee you'll be successful in whatever you choose to do.